So today on the podcast, I've got Heather Wilson on the actual podcast. She is actually running two school communities. One's called the Skoolers Library and the other one is called School Events Hub. I have to read them because there's two of them. I'm not used to somebody having two communities, so we're going to get into that in a little while. But Heather, thank you so much for actually coming on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Des. It's great to meet you at last. We've been crossing paths, so it's nice to actually see you and have a chat with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Heather, listen, let's go back, not ancient past, but let's go back into the past of what you were doing before you had school communities. And also, you're actually a Brit. You're actually a Brit living on the other side of the world. So we definitely got to hear that story as well. So maybe you can just give us a little bit of background of, who you are and where you've come from.
Okay, so yes, I used to live in the UK. I was actually living in Cambridgeshire, and I was actually a police detective for Cambridgeshire Police. So I decided I'd take a career break due to health reasons, and I moved down to New Zealand and took the 3-year career break and never returned.
Wow.
I have family down here. We have lived here as kids before, so I just didn't want to go back. As much as I missed a lot of the UK, I decided not to go back. So that's how I ended up down here again. And I love it here. It's a beautiful country. And I think for the way the world is at the moment, I'm feeling pretty grateful and very lucky to be living all the way down here, tucked away, and in an insignificant country, really.
I bet. And we were talking just before we started the podcast, didn't we, about how strange it is for the time zones. Obviously, you're kind of half used to what between New Zealand and the UK, but you was obviously telling me before I hit record about the West Coast and Hawaii. You were saying that it's really strange to kind of, get the actual time zones right for when you're actually looking to work with people.
Yeah, it is. Although New Zealand we do have an advantage that we can work with a lot of people. In fact, it's the UK is, really hard unless I want to get up really early. But the US, it's weird. I swear some parts of them are like a day and a half behind, and like Hawaii, it can be like the same time, but a day and a half before. So like the 12 hours split, but extra, and it's it gets a bit mind-boggling, so I'm very grateful for AI to help me out on that.
I bet. All right, so thank you so much for your history. I would love to actually speak about the actual school communities now, because obviously you've got two. I'm assuming you started off with one, but you've got two school communities, and I'm assuming they're both very different. I'm in one of them, I believe. And can you just basically talk us through how you actually came to school, how you actually thought about actually starting a school community? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I actually came to school probably the beginning of last year as I suppose a member of another community, and just to get a feel of what school was about. I'd heard about it. Somebody had said, "Oh, you ought to get onto school. You'll do really well there," and I didn't quite get it. So I just did my thing with this other community and some training, and then left and carried on with social media. But as time went on, social media has become, to me, a place that's really not aligned. I find a lot of it is very toxic and very selfish, very hand out, and a lot of expectations. And I didn't like that. And the same person said, well, they are now doing an offer on Skool. You can go on the hobby plan. Just jump on and give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. So I was one of the tsunami rush people and one of many, and joined, I think it was at the end of August.
Okay.
And I started off with the Skoolers Library. And that came about because I was having a break from doing what I had previously been doing on social media, which was Bob Proctor's programs. I'm a consultant for Bob Proctor and teach all his methodologies. And I was having a break. I wanted to approach it from a different angle, but I thought, I have no idea how I'm going to slot this in with Skool. So in the meantime, this little voice in my head said, well, you have like stacks of books full of wisdom. Why not just share those with people? Because we all buy these books. and we either read them or part read them, and then we just stick them back on the shelf. And like, hands up, I've done that, and I still do that with some of the books because I'm not ready for them. But I thought, well, how would it be that I help people actually get out of the book what it is that they purchased it for, where they felt they were stuck and they needed help. I can, distill the books pretty quick. I'm a ferocious note taker when I'm reading my books. So that idea came from there. So that's what I do. I cut the fluff and I take out all the golden nuggets and distill it all down into simple steps, and in a way that people can implement them and get results, instead of having to read it through and read it through and read it through. So that's how that one came about.
Okay.
So the second one, so the Skool Events Hub, it is really an offshoot of the Skoolers Library, because if you think a library does have a notice board, and I originally called it the Community Notice Board, but the name wasn't really selling what the community was about. So I changed it. But all libraries, have information about local events going on. And I had seen a couple of great events going on, and I had missed them. Somebody else had told me, I've just been on this mastermind and all this. And I was like, what? Well, what community is that? And they told me which community. And I was like, I would never have thought of joining that community. But the event was something I was really, really interested in. And I thought that this is a way we are not being visible on Skool. And how unique it was that you could advertise your events in another community, the Skool Events Hub, and people would be able to see that. They would then be able to join the community and attend these wonderful events, because there are a lot of free events that, a lot of us could do with. And we're missing these opportunities. One came up yesterday in there about 3 steps to preparing, effective workshops. And I was like, I need that one, just to brush up on things. There was another one that came up about doing affirmation cards and how to create them online. And I thought, I have done one before, and that is just something that is really cool as a resource to have for a lot of coaches out there to, be able to give to their clients. So it came a way, of getting more visibility for people and a different way to attract people into your community. Because sometimes I think the front shop of a community, no matter how, much we tweak it and, try and make it all nice and shiny, it just doesn't attract some people, because it doesn't really reflect your skills, and your skills come out more when you're doing a launch or a workshop or a mastermind or a mini course or a challenge. That's when we get to know exactly what you can do with your skills. So the Skool Events Hub was born.
Excellent. So are you finding that you're actually attending a lot of these events yourself then? Obviously you're hosting a lot of them, or not hosting them, but you're actually putting them up on your bulletin board, as you say. Are you actually finding that you're actually attending a lot of these as well?
At the moment I'm committed on a course, and so not at the moment. There are some, like I said, I've already said to the workshop guy, let me know when you're doing the next one. I am there. And the same with the affirmation cards, because a lot of these will come again, which is great. But there are so many in there I now want to do. And it's highlighted, things that I didn't know were available, was available to me, and free. That's, a beauty of a lot of it. It is free. There are some that you have to join on the premium membership side. Which actually, when you think about the quality of the information they're giving you in that mastermind or that challenge or whatever, it is worthwhile. Whether it's $19 or $49, you are getting huge value just in that one workshop or whatever that event is. So
absolutely.
So yes, there are a lot of good ones I want to do. I'm having to hold back at the moment. Just sort of like it's like a candy store at times. So
Yeah.
yeah, there is a lot I want to do.
So you started back in August, and you've grown the Skoolers library to 111 members, which is fantastic. And I'm assuming you've just crossed 100 as well, have you? Is that recently?
I couldn't tell you. I know the
Oh, okay.
111. The 111 is recent because obviously I love that number. I'm waiting to see all the ones turn up there, and I'll photograph it. Like there's 11 members online, and then I can't remember what the other one would be. But yeah, so that's recent, getting to 111. So yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
So how have you found it then? Obviously, it's extremely difficult to actually start a community. It's even harder to actually grow one as well. How have you actually found the process from starting from scratch, where there's no one in there apart from you, to now a whopping 111 members? How have you found it?
I've enjoyed it. It's been, a good learning curve. And I think all of us go through it at the start where we know absolutely nothing about what we're doing, how Skool works. Even though it's very simple, we get ourselves overwhelmed. But I've enjoyed the journey. I have been frustrated at the start because I'm one of those people that I want knowledge. I want to know how to do it, and I want somebody to show me. So my advice would be on that is in the early days is get to know somebody really well and get them to show you the way. And you don't have to be paying money for it. You can make plenty of contacts here and get networking, get talking and chatting, and have a good look around. It is so simple. There are some amazing people here in Skool, as we know, and
Absolutely.
they are more than willing to help. That's what we're all here for. We want to help people after all. So, and I think the ethos of community, that Skoolers has set up is, we are all here for each other. We're all growing. So we all have different levels of awareness and knowledge and experience here. And it's trial and error. It really is trial and error. Learn, relearn, relearn, learn, relearn. It's just an ongoing process.
Yeah, yeah.
And enjoy
And
it.
how did you actually grow the membership? Obviously, I've got a community that's based on YouTube, so we also make YouTube videos, and we try to drive traffic to our Skool community via YouTube, and obviously there's different other methods that we've used. But how did you actually grow your community from, like I said, from 0 to now 111 members?
Purely networking. Networking, chatting to people. I have collabed in other communities. And it is purely because I don't go to social media now. I don't do any of that at the moment. So it is purely getting yourself out there, being visible and talking to people. As nobody's going to know about you and what you do. And as soon as you talk to somebody, you don't have to be trying to sell your community at all. There is something about Skool where you automatically go, Des,
Yeah.
I've seen him about, and you just look at the profile and it tells you straight away what your communities are. And then you go, oh, YouTube, I really need to be doing that. So you go and join. And all it took was a conversation over maybe a topic in Skoolers or in another community that somebody goes, oh, I quite like the look of that, and they join. And then you can continue chatting and growing and building together, referring people, collabing, all sorts.
No, that's phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing that. And one of the questions I did want to ask you, actually, because I run a few communities, and obviously you've got two. How have you found running two communities? Have you found it quite difficult? I know in my own community, a lot of people think I spend a lot of time in there, and I really don't. I publish content. I comment when someone leaves a comment on one of my posts, but I'm not sitting in there all day. But how have you found it running two communities?
Not too bad.
Okay.
It's when I want to fit in other things that I really have to time things well. So like doing this course at the moment. So what I have found myself doing is during the day, in amongst doing other things, life, I will do the Skoolers library and networking. And then in the evening, after dinner, I come in and do the work in the Skool Events Hub. And the idea with that is that the Skool Events Hub will eventually run itself, and I won't be doing so much work in there. So that doesn't take up too much time.
Sure.
But the daytime is dedicated to Schoolers Library and the growth side and training and developing.
Excellent. And can you let us know how the Schoolers Event Hub works? I mean, a lot of people would probably assume that it's automated, but I'm assuming it's probably not. I mean, I think you do a lot of manual work in that. So generally what happens is when somebody comes to your community and they want to actually share a class or share a call that's going to be coming up in a few days or a few weeks' time, how do you actually collate that? How do you actually present that in the community?
Okay, so what they do at the moment, we are still accepting founding members. We are getting to a stage where we are having like a calendar full a week, which is looking really, really good. So once you join, you are able to go in and post your event as long as you follow a template, which is very, very simple. It's, the name of your event, the date, and the date has to be 9th of March or however, but it has to be worded because different countries put the date differently. So I always
you've reminded me a few times as well, haven't you, over the past few weeks as well, to actually make sure I get my dates and times right as well.
That's right, yeah. And then definitely the time, but I need the time zone. That's very important. Yeah. And then a good description of what it is about, as much information as you can give, because people are like, oh, I need to know a little bit more. And then a good picture. And it's as simple as that. And then from there, I enter all the details as much as I can into the calendar, hence needing to know the time zone because my calendar operates under Pacific Auckland time and I need to make sure that I'm clicking on the right time zone for everyone else. Otherwise, I'll just confuse everyone.
Yeah.
So that's how it lays at the moment. Once we get to a certain level, we will be going into more and expanding into premium level and a VIP level.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, so it's still a little bit up in the air as to how that's going to work. I do have it stated in the community as a plan, but as time evolves and we are growing, it's showing how things are working and how things are not working. And so I can tweak straight away. So I've just tweaked one thing, which has made, a lot of people much happier because it was all about how you can then in return promote the Skool Events Hub because we need more people. We want people coming in and browsing and we want the events, We need to keep the shelves full and we need people to come in and shop. And I can't do that without everyone doing their part. So it is really a community sort of pull together, let's get this thriving. So then after that, the plan is to utilize the classrooms as well, where, say, for example, Des, you could do a video in there and introduce yourself and tell, everyone what you, can do and what you do. Or what you don't do. And then you can, expand a lot more on, what you've got coming up if you are, planning ahead. But it gives people that opportunity to listen to you, listen to your wisdom and go, oh, yeah, I will definitely learn off of this guy. I'm going to go ahead and book in with him because we don't really get that opportunity so much within school. It's very hard. We only get a short glimpse of what somebody's like before we join. So I want to be able to do something like that, and maybe I do something like this as well, where I start to introduce people that have been long time event providers, so that we can utilize that in the classrooms as well, so they can look up Des and say, oh yeah, so Des does this and this is what he's like, he's a cool dude, I like to hang out with him, he's definitely knowledgeable. So yeah, we have plans coming up, and always open to ideas as well.
Love that, love that. So how do people get to find out about these events then? Do they need to be part of the community? So if they're members in another community, how do they get to find out about your community or the events going on in the community?
Yeah, so the idea is that, yes, if you want to come in and browse, you join as a member. It's totally free for any browsers. And that will be long term. It'll be always free for the browsers. Also, what I am doing is I now do a weekly agenda, and I'm speaking to other communities where I can display that agenda. So it's not about so much advertising, my community. I'm actually advertising everyone's community. So I can't remember how many we had on this week's agenda. We had quite a few, because then you came on with yours and a couple of others did as well. So then I go to other communities that I'm allowed to post these events in. And that's great, because each time I get new people coming like, oh, this is a great idea. And they come and join, and they say, oh, I'm just going to come and have a browse, because I definitely, like what I'm seeing here. And then you see the comments coming up, oh, I'm going to do this one. And so it's working. So, and also community members, they are advertising it or referring it as well. So it really is a community job to get it sort of, up and running. And I think we're now over 52 members, and we only started at the beginning of February. So
congratulations.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So, and that's thanks to, everyone on the community as well for the growth.
Excellent, excellent. All right. And if you had to do things again, this was like one of my favourite last questions that I like to ask people that I actually interview on the podcast. If you had to do things all again, you started back in August, we're now in March. If you had to do it all again and do things a little bit differently, what would you do differently? And it doesn't have to be just the one community, it could probably be both of them if you like.
Yeah, what would I do differently? I think I would not feel that I had to rush in and be, getting it all done and perfect. Sure. I would definitely have spent more time in observation mode and spending time amongst different communities and learning and seeing how it's working for them. On saying that, I also truly believe that the path I've taken was the path I was meant to take, because there are so many lessons in that I've learned. Yeah. And, so even when you think you're struggling, it's not a case of you're stuck or anything. You're just learning. That's all you're doing. There's nothing bad happening here. It's just learning. And like I said, it's enjoying it as well. And, we put up all this resistance and, I'm not doing well. And this is, don't know what I'm doing. Well, you do know what you're doing. Sure. You just don't believe you know what you're doing. So, yeah, I would hang back and observe a little bit more, but also I wouldn't change a thing.
Fantastic. That's a brilliant answer, by the way. So, Heather, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And obviously, I've given the names of the Skool communities, but I don't know if you want to maybe advertise yourself again. Where can we find you? Or where can we find your communities?
So, on Skool, you will find me in the Skoolers library, and you can't miss me. I have my pink background to make it stand out, and even though I don't wear pink, by the way, but I like to stand out. And the Skoolers library has a bright pink colour to it as well. And then the Skool Events Hub also on Skool, and you will spot that because it's bright orange. So
absolutely.
You can't miss us. You really can't miss us.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. And look, I'm going to do my best to obviously to actually fly the flag as well. I've used your community now, obviously since inception, I think, maybe a few weeks after. And I think it's a fantastic community. Obviously, I'm not in the other one, but I'm sure that's equally as good. But I appreciate the service that you're offering us Skool owners. I really do appreciate it. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. And like I said, I'll do everything I can to help and promote your communities.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot. It really does. Because, as you know, it's a lot of work in school, and I enjoy it. And I am here to serve, but I need help like anyone else. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Heather, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
My pleasure.